today I'll be showing you how to play The Feeling by Steve Lacy. It's pretty simple, it's just 4 chords, and let's get into it. So for the chords, it's just going to be octave, A flat, then with your right hand, A flat, C, E flat, E flat, A flat. Then for the second chord, you're going to go up 2 semitones to this B flat, then play the same chord, but with this middle finger, move it down to an F. So you should have okay. And then for this third chord, it's going to be an E flat, a G, an A flat, a B flat, and an E flat. And then for this fourth chord, you're going to move your left hand down to a C, and then you're going to play the same chord, but move this B flat to a C. Sounds ugly, but it works with the song. And something with the song that's probably important to mention is that the chorus isn't really on where you'd think it would be. Because you think it would be on the first chord, you know, like after the phrase ends, but it's not, it's actually on the third chord. And how he does that is, well, I'm assuming, because, like, you know, I'm not an expert, but I'm assuming it's because all these chords kind of stay right here on this A flat, C, and E flat, except the third chord, but it still kind of fits. So, like, really, you could play the whole song with just these chords, and then get rid of this one here. So that's kind of how he does it, I assume. So that's important to look out for. But the way I think about it, I just split it into 2 sections. It's this, because only one note really moves, and then for this part, because only one note really moves. But yeah. So now we're gonna get into the melody. So for the melody, it's pretty straightforward. Like I said, think about it in 2 chunks. So here's the melody. Right? And the notes for that, it's just going to be the first normal chord, and it's a A flat, C, E flat, A flat. Then you're going to move this A flat down to a G, then an F, E flat, D, B flat, G. So right, that's the first chunk of this. And make sure to move your bass note when you're doing it. Oops, my bad. And right here, I like to play the full chord on where it goes to F, but you don't have to, you can just do. Right? And whenever you hit this G, you're gonna play just the normal third chord that you've always been playing. But I don't recommend playing the full chord, just play the G, right? So that's the first chunk complete. Now the second chunk is gonna start on this third chord, and it's really simple. You're just doing this chord twice. So move your left hand to the C, right? So altogether it should be just second chunk, right? So it's pretty easy once you get under your fingertips. So now we're gonna get into the chorus. So for the chorus, like I said, it comes in on the third chord, which is kind of weird. But so it's gonna start with After All. Then you're gonna play F. So for There's One Thing I Don't Know. So. And then right here, this is when the I'm Your Baby starts. So back on this third chord. Right? And then, like I said, it's the weird part. So now it's back on the first chord. And then nothing really happens. It goes up. Third chord. Right? So it's pretty simple. You just got to make sure you're coming in on the right time for that, or else it's just going to be sounding weird. Because if you try to do it on the first chord, it's not going to sound wrong, but it's not going to sound right. Right? So make sure it's on third and fourth, and then these first two chords are just kind of like basic. Now we're going to do the ending for this song. And it's where he's like singing his heart out. That's what we're going to be doing. So it's actually pretty simple. Just make sure the voicings are right, and I'll teach you that. So it's just going to be the first chord without the A flat, just like the chorus, right? Then you're going to go up to the second chord, and then you're going to add that B flat, and then you're going to do that fourth chord. But in the song, he does this weird voicing thing where he moves this E flat down to a D. So it's a little different. So just pay attention to that. So you should just have first chord, okay? And then the fourth chord, it's gonna be the ba, ba, ba. So it's gonna go back to this E flat. Right? And you're just gonna repeat it. And I forgot to mention this, but what I like to do is after the, I just like to play these two notes, because this is where the voicing ends. Right? So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward song. As long as you just make sure these voicings are correct, it should be okay. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped. But also, I don't know.